Asyrafil Mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera kepada hadirin hadirat yang dirahmati sekalian. Bagi memberkati program kita pada pagi ini, marilah kita memulakan dengan membaca Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, syukur kita kehadrat ilahi kerana dengan limpah kurnianya dapatlah kita bersama-sama dalam program webinar Sustainable Energy Series bagi kali yang keempat dalam tahun 2023 yang bertajuk Green Building Index and Assessment Tool for Sustainable Building in Malaysia. Bagi pihak penganjur iaitu Pusat Pengurusan Tenaga dan Kampus Lestari, COSCEM, Universiti Malaysia Perlis, UniMAP, mengalu-alukan kehadiran semua hadirin dan hadirat ke program ini, iaitu daripada kalangan warga UniMAP, sama ada staf ataupun para pelajar. Kita juga wakil daripada agensi-agensi kerajaan, ada juga daripada syarikat-syarikat swasta dan juga para profesional daripada IEM, daripada Registered Electrical Energy Manager REM, dan kita juga ada wakil daripada GBI yang turut bersama kita pada hari ini. Sebagai makluman juga, webinar ini turut disiarkan secara langsung melalui FB Live UniMAP. Hadirin serta hadirat sekalian, program webinar Sustainable Energy Series yang dianjurkan COSCEM pada hari ini merupakan kali yang keempat yang diadakan pada tahun ini. Sebagai makluman, siri yang pertama kita adakan pada Mei yang lalu, iaitu kita telah membincangkan tajuk Systematic Approach of Evaluating ACMV System, yang mana panel kita pada hari tersebut adalah Engineer Al-Khairi. Kemudian pada bulan Jun kita adakan siri yang kedua yang bertajuk Energy Management System, Best Practices Toward Achieving Business and Sustainable Goals, yang mana panel kita ialah Encik Zaini bin Abdul Wahab. Pada bulan Ogos kita adakan yang ketiga yang bertajuk RE Heat and Thermal Technology, yang mana panel kita adalah Encik Zakwan bin Dahlan, yang mana kesemua ketiga-tiga program awal kita mendapat sambutan yang sangat baik dan menggalakkan daripada hadirin dan hadirat. Pada hari ini kita berada di siri yang keempat dan terakhir untuk tahun ini, yang mana kita akan bincangkan berkenaan aspek kelestarian bangunan ataupun sustainable building, iaitu Green Building Index. Jadi pihak COSCEM UniMAP merakamkan ucapan terima kasih kepada pihak Green Building Index kerana sudi menerima jemputan kita pada hari ini untuk menjayakan program, dan khususnya Arkitek Chan selaku GBI Accreditation Panel member yang sudi untuk menjadi speaker pada hari ini. Jadi hadirin dan hadirat, antara topik yang kita akan bincangkan hari ini mungkin berkaitan dengan apakah itu GBI, kemudian overview berkenaan GBI di Malaysia, berapakah jumlah bangunan yang telah disertified dan jenis-jenis bangunan, bangunan yang boleh untuk apply kepada GBI, GBI Assessment Criteria Point dan juga rating, kemudian assessment proses dan kelebihan, advantages sekiranya kita nak jadi bangunan yang certified GBI, dan juga mungkin program-program training yang dianjurkan oleh GBI. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan hadirin sekalian, sesi Q&A kita akan buka selepas penceramah membentangkan ceramahnya, yang mana pendengar boleh menanyakan soalan kepada penceramah ataupun boleh type di ruangan in-call messages. Walau bagaimanapun, boleh mula menulis melalui sekarang. Sekiranya takut terlupa nanti, kita nak tanya, boleh tulis mulai sekarang, dan penceramah mungkin akan cuba menjawabnya lebih awal. Jadi sekarang tibalah masanya kita untuk sesi ceramah. Sebelum kita mulakan, saya ingin membacakan sedikit latar belakang Arkitek Chan, iaitu arkitek Chan Seong iaitu seorang arkitek dan juga pengarah Director of Architect Daya Seni Sdn Bhd yang ditubuhkan oleh beliau pada tahun 1984 dan beliau merupakan ahli kepada Sirim Working Committee untuk MS 1525 dan Presiden of Persatuan Arkitek Malaysia, Presiden MGBC dan juga merupakan team leader untuk GBI Residential Tool. Dan banyak lagi lah pengalaman beliau sepanjang beliau berkhidmat di dalam sebagai seorang profesional. Jadi tanpa melengahkan masa, majlis menjemput Arkitek Chan untuk memulakan ceramah. Dengan sukacitanya, kita silakan.
Okay, thank you very much, Tengku.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll leave it to Ian to share the slides. So I will go through the slides and see what we have today. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Can I expand this one?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see, but a bit small, funny.
1 second.
No, it's okay. Is it in full screen mode yet?
I already in a full screen now.
Mungkin boleh boleh jangan present lagi, kemudian pilih entire screen. Bila pergi presenting, pergi entire screen.
A presentation is by Ian, isn't it? Sorry, Anis. So is it?
Okay, present now, kemudian pilih entire screen.
Present now. Betul ke? Nampak ke saya punya screen?
Okey, nampak screen, kemudian boleh boleh.
Saya dah full screen.
Entire screen, is it? The other one, there's a new one.
Entire screen.
Boleh.
Which one?
Down there you have the full screen already, isn't it?
Yeah, I already.
Yeah, I can still see the slides on the left,
Yeah.
But on my side it's already full screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Boleh.
I did it again.
Boleh keluar sekali lagi dan cuba masuk sekali lagi. You dah klik dah icon presentation?
Account presentation, kejap saya tutup balik. Saya stop presenting dulu. Sorry, macam mana tadi saya pergi window. Oh, entire screen. Saya pergi kat window untuk saya akses kepada presentation.
No, you pergi terus kepada entire screen. You tekan present now dan terus kepada entire screen. Jangan pergi window. Pergi entire screen.
Okay. Okay. So
kemudian pilih slide dan slideshow lah. Okay, done.
Okay, clear. Alright. Architect Chan, you may start now.
Okay, good morning to everyone from UniMAP, University Malaya Perlis, is it? And all the other guests who are here this morning, and thank you to Tengku for the introduction. Okay, so we move on to the next slide, Ian. Okay, so this presentation this morning is about the Green Building Index. It is the first green building assessment tool developed by the Malaysian Institute of Architects, PAM, dengan Association of Consulting Engineers back in 2009. That's about roughly 13 or 14 years ago already, I think. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, today's presentation will consist of an introduction to GBI. The second one is we look at some of the GBI projects. We see how far we have come in the last 13 years. Then we see if you are in the university or as a guest for today's presentation, we show you what GBI has been doing to educate the professionals. That means the architects, the engineers, the quantity surveyors, the planners, about how to learn more about green buildings and take action about it, because most of the new buildings actually designed by professionals. They are the ones who have the most impact on new buildings. So we want all our new buildings to be green buildings. Of course, in addition to that, today in today's situation, many of the older buildings also need to be upgraded. So we are also going to talk about that one. So we talk about effective education, about the GBI facilitator courses, which are available. The next one is in February. The fourth item on the agenda is we look at one or two sample buildings, okay, who have applied the GBI principles in their building, and we see how much they have improved in their utility values actually. Okay, then after that we look at some of the projects in terms of commercial value. How much have they gain in terms of return on investment? If they invest into green buildings, do they get some commercial value out of it? So that is part of the agenda, because in most of the companies, they are looking at the three pillars of sustainability, the business end of it, the sustainability end of it, and the society end of it. So the social impact part of it. So this is the three impacts. Finally, we will review some of the GBI certified projects. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So introduction to GBI. So in the United Nations framework for climate change, almost all the UN members have agreed during the 2015 and 1997 Kyoto Protocol to follow the framework for Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so the key is to reduce greenhouse gases so that our temperature rise doesn't exceed the 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, these are the levels that once the level goes beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade, a lot of climate change elements start to happen, and these are not good for a lot of natural disaster things happen, such as like in Malaysia, you start getting a lot of unusual weather patterns and cause a lot of flooding, and that's not good for our environment. Neither is it good for our climate. The other thing that we face is because of the rising temperatures, other countries start to take action which is not climate friendly, like they start to maybe instead of covering over their harvest, they start to burn their harvest, so that creates a lot of smoke that comes into the whole of Malaysia also. So these are the two major effects that we have we as Malaysian citizens understand as well. So, and then we have a national NDC, National Determination Contribution. Our national target is actually to reduce our CO2 emissions based on the 1995, I think, base level. We are targeting for 45% reduction in the next few years. I think I'm not sure whether we have achieved it, but the target is we are on the way there. Okay, so the UNCCF COP28 actually get a lot of commitment from most of the countries in the world to agree to this COP28 already. Okay, move on to the next slide. Okay, so the temperature change that I've been talking about, you can see there's no dispute about it. Most of the majority of the scientific community already accept that climate change is very real. It is actually causing an increase in the temperatures worldwide, average temperatures worldwide. And I think 2013 records was the highest in the history. We are already about reaching the 1.4 degree increase in average temperatures already. So the target is to to reach the 45% reduction in our CO2 greenhouse gases by 2020. Actually, that was our original target. I'm not sure whether we've revised it already or not. So next slide. So if you look at the annual global CO2 emissions, buildings actually contribute close to 50% of the CO2 emissions. Building operations themselves are the key elements. So sometimes you look at it, you wonder, how come building operations? Well, the reason is quite simple. The buildings consume almost all the, or at least the occupants in the buildings consume all the energy that is generated by our power stations. Okay, almost all the energy goes. If you look at the Malaysian energy consumption patterns, you can see 50% of the electricity generated by all our power stations actually go towards our industrial buildings. Industrial buildings, that means all our industries. These are the production units. And that's where actually it's called productive consumption. So what we do, we have to continue to use it, but we try to optimize improving our industrial processes. Then another 25% goes to all our non-residential buildings. Non-residential, that means all our non-residential buildings like our offices, our institutional buildings, our government buildings, they consume about 25% of all the energy that is generated by the TNB. Okay. Then finally, the other 25% is consumed by all our residential buildings. That means all our homes throughout Malaysia, they consume the other 25. So it's 50, 25, 25, roughly that is the figure. So if you look at the greenhouse gases generated from our power stations, most of it is come actually from our power stations. So the electricity that you consume actually is not climate friendly. Another 7% comes from the building construction industry. That means in the construction process itself, we actually consume material which is coming from the energy consumption. Okay, the other construction industries take about 6%. So you can see if they add it all together, we are almost 50%. So other industries, transport and others consume the remainder of the global greenhouse gases. Next. So by 2021, 4.2 million square meters of green building spaces have been certified around the world based on the Green Building Council's data. Okay, the WGBC or World Green Building Council is the worldwide accepted body for green buildings. Okay, next. So the WGBC actually recognizes green rating tools. They understand that green buildings contribute about 50% of all the greenhouse gases. Okay, no, all buildings contribute about 50%. And green buildings have the potential to reduce that by between 30 to 50% in the next 20 years or so. So you can see the green building index actually is a green rating tool or green building tool that is recognized by the World Green Building Council. In addition to that, if you look around here, number 10, BREEAM is one of the earliest green building tools developed by the United Kingdom, UK. CASB is a green building tool developed by the Japan Green Building Council. Okay, so you can see 3 of them here. The next one, next page, please. And then the most widely used is number 41. You can see 41 LEED is actually the green building tool developed by the USA Green Building Council. Okay, they are the lead, the one with the most buy-in because they are very good at marketing their tool. And then GreenMark, you can see GreenMark, our neighbor on the south there. They are the earliest, the first to develop a green building tool for their own country. In terms of the tropical, if you see all the countries in the tropical belt, that means we are in the center of the world's tropical belt. GreenMark was the first. Green Building Index was the second green building tool developed in the tropical zone. Okay, so we are two of the tropical tools that are recognized by the Green Building Council. This is the world recognition. It's important because worldwide we have to be recognized. Our certification has to be recognized worldwide. Otherwise, it's not a real tool. Next one. Okay. So the Green Building Index has been, we have been continuously upgrading and improving it since 2009. I think you can see it around 2010, 2011, we had a lot of new tools coming into the Green Building Index area of tools, including like the township tool that is led by our current MDBC president, Dr. Serena Rijas, and then we have the industrial new construction tool. Okay, so a lot of industries if you think back just now earlier, I told you the electricity generated by our power stations 50% is actually consumed by our industries. So industrial new construction, industrial existing buildings, these are the two tools that were developed between 2010 and 2011. That's around late 2011. They help the industries, okay? People who build new factories and those who renovate their old factories, how they can improve the energy consumption and the overall reduction in the CO2 gases generated by these two major consumers, okay? Then in around 2011 to 2012, we also started to develop retail tools and also the data center tools. Now, GBI tools are developed not out of the thin air. We develop the tools because the respective industries in Malaysia ask for the tools. Okay. For example, the new NREB retail tool developed by GBI was actually in collaboration with the Shopping Mall Association of Malaysia. Okay, they were looking at their tools because shopping malls, you'll be surprised. Many of the big shopping malls in the Klang Valley, their electricity bill, if you look at it, you also get shocked. No? Some of them as high as 1 to 2 million, not per day, is not per year, it's per month. Per month. So if they are wanting to improve their sustainability and also look at from the business point of view, they have to start to look at how they can reduce their electricity consumption. And in parallel to that, there is also actually a reduction in their CO2 gases that they emit because they take all the electricity from the power stations. So the NRNC retail tool and is one of the key tools that we have developed in conjunction with the Shopping Mall Association of Malaysia. Okay. Then the data center is, I think many of you also understand, many of the big IT companies they are no longer based in Singapore anymore because Singapore already told them we do not have enough power to support your high power consumption. So many of them actually have started to move to Johor already, Johor, Iskandar area. So they start to move people like Microsoft, people like Google, people like all the major IT companies, and even the retail giants. They started to move to Johor already. So the data centers then become a very important tool. They actually same as the retail tool. They consume a lot of electricity. 1 month is, if they are a big data center, their electricity is in the millions, okay, per month. So around 2013 and to 2014, we have many other tools that we developed, including the hotel tool. Okay, the hotel, we have the new hotel, existing hotel, resort hotel, different type of hotels have different type of tools. This again is the tool that is requested by the the Hotel Association of Malaysia, Hotel Owners Association. They asked us, can we have a tool for doing hotels? So they started to develop this tool also. Okay, so this tool was developed in conjunction with the Hotel Owners Association of Malaysia. Many of them actually share their data with us. They share with GBI. Because without this tool, we cannot, without their data, we cannot develop the tool. So they give us the data. So we develop together with them on how these tools can be used to actually improve both their CO2 reduction and also the operation of the hotels so that they are sustainable hotels. Okay, so these are the key elements from 2013 to 2014. From 2014 to 2015, we have the Hospital Association of Malaysia, not only the government hospitals, but also the Hospital Association of Malaysia, asking for, hey, we are running 24 hours a day. Our electricity bill also in the millions one, especially the big hospitals. They are also running in the millions. And they are, especially we are talking about when they are running their laboratories, their pathology labs, their operating theaters, they run at very low temperatures, and also the aircon is once through. That means they don't recirculate the air. The air goes in, cool down very much, go in, and then it gets comes out. So their electricity consumption is also a very high figure. Same as the retailers and the data centers, talking about millions per month one. Okay, so they also ask for the development of their tools. Again, all these private hospitals, government hospitals, they came together with us and shared their data for us to develop the tools. Okay, and this is where the tool come in, and it is beginning to come. They benefit from it because many of the hospitals that gave us the data, they become the pilot projects that we started to evaluate together with them. Finally, between 2016 2017, we developed a second version of our Township 2, version 2, again led by Dr. Serena Hijaz. We improve our Township 2, okay? And then 2017, 18, the two historic cities of Malaysia, Melaka and Penang, started to ask for tools. There was a lot of a flurry of development of all their old buildings, the very historic old buildings. They say we want to redevelop these parts of the city in a very sustainable way. Okay, so this is where we started to work together with them to develop the historic building tool, which allow them to maintain the appearance of the building, keep back all the key elements that buildings are then still look like they are original, but they have all the key sustainability elements. So these are all the tools. We didn't develop them by ourselves. We developed in collaboration with all the different industries in Malaysia that ask for the tools to be developed by us. Okay, next one. So because of this call or the request from the different industries, you can see we have to date we have developed 18 key tools. for different industries. Okay, all these 18 tools were actually developed in conjunction with all the different industries in Malaysia. Okay, currently we are looking at a lot of requests for the residential existing building. That means all the condos in the Klang Valley, they say, okay, can we have a tool that can evaluate how we want to improve our existing condos and existing landed properties as well, of course. So, but then there is a request. So these are all being under development, and also many of the tools are being updated. Okay, next. So in the Green Building Index tool itself, there are 6 key criteria. Okay, the first one is the energy efficiency, which is the most important one. This one normally the points is between 35 to 30, 28 to 35 roughly lah. Okay, these are the key most important. Why? Because the energy that we consume in buildings come from power stations. And power stations are the biggest polluters, actually. They emit most amount of CO2 into the environment. We enjoy the aircon in the building, but we don't realize sometimes because we are very far apart, we think that, electricity is clean. Electricity comes from power stations, which actually emit a lot of CO2 gases. Next one is the EQ, or indoor environmental quality. Now, green buildings have also to be safe buildings, healthy buildings, comfortable buildings also. So whenever you think about green buildings, they also must be comfortable and practical to work with. A very easy way to save energy is to actually just jack up the temperature. Because when you increase the temperature, the amount of aircon coming into a building also less, then electricity will go down. But then all the occupants become very uncomfortable. So that's not the correct way of doing it. What we need is we want to maintain a comfortable temperature, but without sacrificing our comfort, but also the electricity we can reduce. So how do we do this? Normally, there's 2 ways. There's one active way, which is by improving the efficiency of our aircon system. Another way is the second way is to actually reduce the amount of heat that goes into our buildings. Okay, that is actually, those two are actually under the EE one. Okay, EE criteria. How do we improve the amount of heat coming into our building? We reduce it by insulating the walls of the building and also reducing the amount of direct sunlight coming into our building. That is called the passive part of it. Okay, and that is covered under our Malaysian standard MS 1525. Allows engineers and architects to actually estimate and calculate the amount of heat going into their building. Okay. Then the engineers also, in the active portion, design their aircon system to be more efficient. You'll be surprised if you look at some of the older office buildings. After the GBI facilitator have gone in and done the evaluation, and then they start to improve or change many of the aircon systems. I've seen one building whereby the aircon has reduced by between 30 to 50%, because the old and inefficient aircon systems have been replaced by newer and more efficient aircon systems. So reduction possibilities is up to 50%. The third criteria in the Green Building Index is actually the material and resources. So what do we cover in material and resources? If we work in terms of carbon content, this one is quite a high carbon content material, because they include what is known as embedded carbon. Embedded carbon means how much carbon is emitted to produce the building material. Okay, so this one, if we try to improve the efficiency of the construction industry, both by using less material more efficiently to erect our buildings. Okay, now worldwide data shows that construction industry contributes 40 to 45% of the solid waste that goes into our dam site and goes into our incinerators. Malaysia don't have incinerators. We have a dam site. So 40% of the waste, solid waste, actually come from construction waste. So what we do is in green buildings, we try to reduce the amount of construction waste by going towards industrialized building systems. We go towards using more recycled content in our buildings. Okay, so we try to reduce the amount of embedded carbon materials in our buildings. So this is where the MR portion of or material and resources portion of the green building index is going to look at. Okay, and then the fifth element is the third element. The fourth element is actually sustainable planning and management. This one we cover things like the planner comes in very important already. We try to reduce the effect of localized flooding, how much water we consume. Okay, how can we improve the microclimate around our buildings by having more landscaping, by improving the the microclimate around our buildings, and also how do we reduce the amount of travel that people do to come to work, to go back to work, and also to go to all the surrounding facilities that they use for traveling. Okay, so that is under SM or site planning and management. Okay, so that includes all the construction processes that is overlap a little bit with material resources. Okay, then the fifth element in the green building index criteria is the water efficiency. Okay, now water is actually, when you look at, apart from energy, water is a very, very valuable resource to all of us. We consume a lot of water. Typically, in Malaysia, we consume about 160 to 200 liter per person per day. Okay, typically. If we look at other Asian countries like, let's say, Singapore, their average water consumption per person is 140 liter per person per day. Look at the difference. Ours is 180 to 200. Theirs is 140 to 150. So why? Because their water is more expensive than us. We sell the water to them. They go and sell back to the citizens. So water is a very valuable resource. Unfortunately, in Malaysia, the water distribution is very where you want it is not there. Where you don't want it is all in abundance, and then the timing is also not okay. So what happens during the rainy season? We get a lot of water, but we cannot drink the rainwater all the way. So how we improve the efficiency of the use of water? How we recycle some of the water that we can reuse back? How we can improve the efficiency of water use in all our buildings is a very important criteria. So apart from energy, material, the next item in our criteria is resources. And then finally, the sixth criteria in our Green Building Index criteria elements is innovation. What is innovation? Innovation is something which is not covered in all the other 5 criteria, because we don't pretend to know everything. Okay, there are other people, other engineers, other scientists, other architects, other quantity surveyors, other planners who have more interesting, more innovative ideas. They can then start to implement those ideas in their building, and they can score under the innovation points or the innovation criteria. This is where the GBI is looking at. We don't know everything. We know enough, but somebody else might know more than us. Okay, next one. So the GBI actually is entity, a company owned by the architects, or jointly owned by PAM or Malaysian Institute of Architects and ACM. Okay, both these major institutions actually operate under the guidance of the Board of Engineers and the Board of Architects. Okay, at one time the certificate that we produce, in order to get the tax exemption, many of the certificates have to go back to the Board of Architects for sign off because government only recognize their government bodies. Okay, so the way the board operates is the business portion of the Green Building Index is actually under the control of the or under the guidance of the GBI board of directors, consisting of members from the PAM and the ACM councils. Okay, PAM and ACM councils. Whereas the GBI Accreditation Panel or AP panel, I will call them, they are people who are independent of the whole of the GBI process. They accept they look through the evaluations done by the GBI technical committee, and then they award their certification to all the applicants of the GBI criteria. Okay, based on the 3I criteria. Okay, next one. So if you look at the GBI data, how much have we achieved? As of October 2023, we have 665 projects which have been certified. Now, if you understand the construction process in Malaysia, it's not very fast. Sometimes when we do design, it takes almost 3 to 5 years for the project to come to realization. So GBI's certification is only for completed projects. We don't certify incomplete projects. Okay, so 665 projects have been certified. Okay, so you understand they have been completed, they have been inspected, and they have been certified. That constitutes about 28 million square meters. 28 million square meters. 28 million square meters, or 280 million square feet of spaces. Okay, and it constitutes 1.7 TCOE of carbon dioxide being emitted because a lot of us, we also cannot get a feel of what is this but that is the amount of CO2 being emitted. Next one.
Fires don't just wipe out human life. Lakes, rivers dry up, forests.
Can we look at the next slide?
Whole continents would just nothing more than barren waste. Slowly but surely.
Okay, some of the registered projects, of course, you can see just now this is the applied, registered. Okay, actually, if you look at the applied projects, we have about 1.2 million applied projects. 1,200 applied projects. They apply for it, but it takes about a few years for them to get it to the design stage. Then we award them a certificate called a design assessment certificate. Then finally, when they complete the project, they apply for the completion and verification existed projects. So these are the total certified projects. You can see the highest number is in the NRNC, non-residential new construction. Why is that? Because many of the factories and the office buildings, shopping mall, they are big projects. So they have many square feet. That's why they are the highest at 51%. Residential new construction consists of all the high-rise condos, all the landed properties, all the terrace houses, all the low-cost houses. Everything is under the residential new construction. Non-residential existing buildings, you see, they are only very low because currently many of the, I would say close to 80% of our buildings actually are existing buildings. In the next, I would say 10 to 20 years, we have to start looking at those already because they are also big contributors. Okay, INC, you can see they are about 4%. They about close to 4 to 5%. They are all the industrial buildings. Okay, there's not the pickup is moving but not fast enough. Okay, so next slide. Now this one is you can see the green building rating system. We have the platinum, the gold, the silver, and certified. Certified is the most common one because if you get a GBI certified buildings, it means your building is design and run on best practices in Malaysia. Okay. If you have a silver building, it means you are better than the GBI, better than the best practice already. You are already above the best practice already. By the time you go to gold, you are the one of the best run buildings, best design buildings in Malaysia already. If you go to platinum, if you are a platinum building, you are world standard already. You are among the top 2% of the buildings in the world in terms of energy consumption per square feet and in terms of the running of the buildings. So platinum buildings are world standard already. Not, and you can compare that. That's why we are world rated green buildings certification system. This one is world standard already, equivalent to all the other world rating tools. Okay, so we have, I think only about 4% of them are in the platinum category, while 60% are in the certified category. So if you combine the certified and the silver, they are almost 80% lah. The remaining 20% are in the gold and the platinum category. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We look at this is the 28 million square meter ones. I think earlier on this is a graphic representation of the thing. Even though the NRC is more in terms of the number of buildings, they are actually less than the RNC, which is residential is more like in Malaysia, 13.8 million gross floor area that has been rated. Then if you combine the NRNC and NREB, they will of course be higher than the almost the same as the RNC. Okay, we move on to the next one. Okay, so carbon dioxide emission reductions. So you can see the different buildings, like the NRNC is the highest, okay, because they are the ones that consume a lot of energy. Typically, office and industrialized buildings, they consume the highest. Compared to, let's say, residential buildings, they consume a lot less energy, but they are high in numbers. Okay. Next. So these are the distribution of where you find all the green buildings. Okay. In terms of the numbers that have been rated, the highest is actually in the Klang Valley. Okay, Kuala Lumpur and Klang Valley, followed by Selangor. Okay, then all the remaining states. I think we have practically every state at least got one building that have been certified. Okay, move on. So this is the distribution of all the different green buildings. You can see the ones that have been registered on the left, and then the one have been rated, the most common one. You can see the majority of concentration actually is inside the Klang Valley itself, Selangor and the Klang Valley itself. Next one. So now we come to the how we train the people to support the industry. Okay. Now we run what is known as the GBI facilitator courses. We run it. We try to run at least minimum 4 per year. Every quarter we have one. Engineer Yong Tong is the lead leader. He's I think the course director one of the course director So currently we are at 3 already. I think the next course is in February 2024, because we have the Christmas break and the Chinese New Year break. Nobody wants to attend. So the next one is, I think, 53 or 54. I'm not sure.
53.
53, okay. So the total participants to date is 2,600. Each course, in the early years, we used to have 120 people per course, The whole hall is packed with people. Now we run it online already, so that's also very advantageous to the people in Sabah and Sarawak. They can attend. Now the course is actually designed or fashioned in such a way that you learn as you do. It's not although the lectures run for 3 days. That means we cater for the working professional. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days. Okay, that's just the lectures and the the Q&A and all the information is distributed to the course participants. Then they are given between 2 to 3 weeks to work on the actual building that is already been designed. Okay, so what they do is they evaluate the building, how to get the green building rating for that particular building by improving all the key elements inside the building, from the EE, EQ, SM, MR, WE, and innovation. So they are given a fixed budget. Okay, you're given this budget. Can you work within this budget to produce your proposal for a green building? That is based on their submission. They work in groups, of course. They work in group because in reality, if you look at green buildings, cannot be done by one single person. It's always done by a group of people, including participation by the owner, the building managers, the architects, the engineers, the quantity surveyors, the planners. Everybody comes together to work on the building. It is not a one-man show, including even the contractors, because during the implementation stage, contractors have to contribute. They play a major role in the MR portion, reduction of waste, efficiency of construction. All that is under MR. It is part of the important one. So that's why you can see even in our courses, we have project managers, contractors from major building companies. They come in to also learn about green buildings. Of the 2,620 people who have participated, about 212 have passed the exam, so they can register as GBIF. But only about half of them actually register as green building facilitators. Now, you have to keep in mind, this one is when you're educated, you can actually work within your own company. You help your own company to improve the GBI rating or the sustainability of your project or all your buildings in your company. GBI does not impose a requirement for your buildings to get rated through a GBI facilitator. We only recommend that you employ or appoint a GBI facilitator, but it's not compulsory. You can actually send your staff to GBI for training. They then can become the GBI facilitator for your projects after, of course, passing the exam. Okay, next one. So, summary of the green text. This one is mainly addressed to the companies in Malaysia. Okay, if you are doing, if you have a building that you want to, let's say your office building or any industrial building, you want to upgrade your building. The Malaysian government has actually, through the Income Tax Act 1967, offered exemptions. That means investment tax allowance or under the the term in green, they call it green incentive tax allowance or GITA. And then this one, the income tax exemption, GITE. Okay, so income tax allowance and then exemption. Allowance means they I think I also mix up the two already. One is actually you get exemption after you get your GBI certification. You can apply for tax exemption for all the items in the GBI rating tool that you have scored points for. Okay, for example, if you have instead of using normal glass in your office building, you use a high quality glass that reduces the amount of heat that goes into your building. Okay, because it blocks out the heat but allows the daylight to come in. So those are called high performance glass. The difference in the cost of, let's say, the clear glass and the high performance glass, let's say it's 2 million or 10 million, depending on the size of the building. If the difference is 10 million, you can claim for tax exemption under the income tax exemption. But it has to be certified by Green Building Index. Okay, so Green Building Index was add up issue the certificate of tax exemption or GT certificate to the building owner, who then adds it into his his cost, that one he apply to the MIDA to get the tax exemption. Then the income tax officer who will then look at the tax exemption, and then accordingly they will reduce the amount of tax you have to pay for your annual one. Okay, I believe under the current act, the GT Act, they can exempt up to 70% per year of your tax exemption. Let's say if you have a tax exemption of 10 million, your profit for that year is 5 million. Okay, you cannot exempt the whole 5 million. You can take the first 5 million to 10 million, take 70%, then carry forward to the following year and the following year, just like the way you can carry forward losses in a listed company or a Sindran Berhad. Okay, the one only you can ask your tax accountant to advise you on that one. Investment tax allowance will be special items, like, for example, if you want to put solar panels on all the roof in your factory, okay, that one you can claim under the GITA. GITA is tax exemption under, let's say you spend 3 million on the solar panel. That one you can claim for tax exemption also. Okay, the mechanism is actually under you have to to your respective tax accountant, who will then advise you on what to do. Actually, this Tax Exemption Act was applied by Green Building Index back in 2010. We applied to the Inland Revenue Board to introduce a new Income Tax Exemption Act. It has been given 5 years, and it has been renewed every year since 2010 until 2023. From what I understand, we have been told that this has been green tax exemption allowance has been extended to 2025 already. Okay, 31st December 2025. So GITA and GITI has been extended to 2025. So that if you have existing building, you have not applied yet, you can still continue to apply until 2025, 31st December. Okay, these are some of the what they call economic or business incentive given by the government to encourage companies to go green. Of course, if you have been reading the papers, looking at the news recently, you will also learn that listed companies have to start to comply with the requirement for going green through the ESG. Okay, ESG, which is they have been set a target to comply with ESG requirements by 2030. So most of them actually will go through this particular Green Technology Act to get the incentive, and then also in the process comply with the ESG requirements imposed by the Bursa Malaysia. Okay, so they got 7 years to do it, but most of them already started to doing it already. You can see many of the banks are actually applying ESG principles, and inside the ESG principles, one of the key elements is actually the green buildings. Okay, next. So in the early years, when we first started in 2009, it's a lot of misunderstanding because people don't understand green buildings. They start giving bombastic figures. They started saying, like, if they don't want to do the work, or they say, all this extra work I don't want to do, they say, extra cost for green building is 30%, 50% more. But the way they talk is actually got no basis at all. Okay, absolutely no basis. We have 10 years worth of data to show you. So based on our data itself, we look at the bottom figure at the bottom up to 2022 based on the claims, incremental cost, the green color mark I can see. For GBI certified buildings, the incremental cost, that means if your building is $100 million to build, Extra cost is between 0 to 2 million, 1.1% on average. So I think based on that one, the ROI for the company is about 2 to 3 years at the very most. Okay. Silver is between 1 to 3%, average of 1.8%. The green bar you can see at the bottom there. Gold buildings about 2 to 6%, average of 3.8%. Platinum, because there's a small sample only, is between 5 to 10%. Okay, 5 to 10% only. So because these are the buildings that actually go all out, these are all really high cost buildings. Okay, they go all out. So that's why they are a little bit more expensive to also implement. So they are 5 to 10%. But the majority of building owners will go for either certified or silver. These are the 80% people. You can see on average, they will not exceed 3% of their budget. That means they only budget only about extra maximum 3%. Average between 1 to 3% of their budget increase. That's all. Only thing is you take the effort to implement the policies that are required to get your building to go green. Very important, that one. Policies. Then your consultant will then set up all the requirements, and then the implementation is by your contractors or your building managers. These are the people who then run it on the ground. Okay, so important, you have the policy must be right there. Okay, next. Okay, list example of Menara X. This one they don't want to reveal because the owner say don't put my name on the signboard lah. Okay, so typically you can see the TNB bills, the BMS building management system data they show because they are almost the same lah sometimes. So this is a building. They based on one they can see percentage deviation is very little. So based on the annual energy consumption kilowatt hours, 7.4 million kilowatt hours. The EMS is about, so the EMS about so deviation about 2%. So you can see every year they have been actually start the average out. This is the average out. Next one. So same building, data center energy use. Also they are logged in. You see how much the energy is used between the different years kilowatt hours, 500 to, so they start to steadily reduce it okay, through the years. Next one. Advanced EE performance. So this one is same the Menara X. You can see the different months. The consumption has been it varies from month to month as well. Okay, carry on. Next one. Okay, so water consumption also they log it in. So you can see the 2 million meter cube, 2,000 meter cube. So they consume about average about 36,000 meter cube of water every year. Okay, move on. So now we go through some of the GBI certified buildings okay, the Sarawak Energy headquarters. This is based in Kuching, and NRNC Silver. Okay, bangunan the Prime Minister's office. The next one. Okay, next one is the Prime Minister of Bangunan Perdana Putra. This one was I think they were certified. I can't remember the year, but they are going for renewal in 2000. They have second renewal already. This one, they are platinum building. Okay. Then University College of Technology Sarawak. This is another platinum building. You can see they have a big expanse of body of water, keeps the whole micro environment very cool. A lot of landscaping. And then you can see they don't have a lot of glass area. You can see the glass area only facing the, I think if I'm not wrong, east. And the rest of it are quite shaded building. So they have achieved platinum, which is the world best building, one of the world best buildings already. Okay, next. The Hospital Cyber Jaya, again CVA platinum. This building, I think not fully operational yet, but they have already applied for the CVA already. They actually qualified already. You can see this building is also a very well designed and very well run building. Next. This one is Menara SEDC. This one is LCDA Tower. This building is GBI certified. You can see all the windows are extremely well, well shaded, and therefore the heat going into the building is also very low. That's why they are able to achieve the CVA silver. Next. Wisma Manika. This one is again a CVA certified building. Okay, this one is next one. Kowloon silver certified. This is a factory building. Tun Razak. Okay, this is a CVA certified. It's a factory building under the Industrial New Construction, INC, I think, if I'm not wrong. TRX exchange. Okay, this one is actually under, if I'm not wrong, is under the platinum rating. Almost all the buildings in TRX actually went for GBI rating, but they also went for the township rating. Okay. If any of you have been to the TRX shopping mall recently, you can see they are actually well, many of the buildings here are very well designed. Okay, they are going for township platinum because almost all their buildings are GBI certified buildings. They can actually go for the township to platinum to achieve that because all your buildings are already green. What's there to hold back? I think that's why they are going at now PA only at PA. That means the preliminary assessment stage only lah. Okay, but they are actually a very well designed and very well run group of buildings. Next, Amori. Okay, the Unifor complex. This one is design at the design stage. They have not gone to the certified CVA stage. I think they haven't reached the stage of getting 1 year worth of energy data. So they are non-residential, they are office building. Okay, very interesting looking building. Okay. Penang Town Hall, this one is DA certified. They are based on the non-residential existing building. Okay, they are a historic building. They are using the historic building tool which was developed in 2018. This is one of the historic buildings in Penang. Okay, this is in the heritage zone of Penang. So the way they renovate it, they have very strict rules about how to renovate the thing. They cannot simply change anything they like. Okay, so they are done under the historic tool, and this one they managed to get it certified. I think this is under the Penang City Council. Next. Okay, this one is the Tech Dome in Penang. This one is under interior tool. GBI also got an interior tool. Okay, CVA says already been certified already. Interior, this one you will go in under interior tool means they cover only one small portion of a particular building, but they have same criteria also lah. They follow certain criteria to go through to get it lah. Okay, I think this is the last project we are talking about. We move on to the end, so we go on. We hand back to Tunku to moderate the Q&A. I think Mr. Engineer Ng is also still around. He will have to answer some of the active GBI portions of the GBI questions lah. Okay, so Tunku, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Architect Chan, for a very comprehensive sharing session. And we are open for Q&A. If there are any question from the floor. I got one question first.
Yes, go ahead.
Now what you presented is a good story. Is there any cases from your experience that in the first place the building got certified, but after some time it not well maintained, and then the performance reduced?
Got. We have some buildings. I've seen some older buildings. Not new buildings. Older buildings. We go there and then the management don't want to invest money to upgrade the building. So very easy one. You just go into the building, you look at their aircon plant first. Very out of date. No proper control one. All the pumps are running at full speed. The way they control the chill water system is by using sensor, which the motor are running at full speed. You can, when you go in there, you can hear the wheezing sound inside the building. Compared to the new building, they are using variable pump. Only when you need the water, the pump will increase in speed. But this one running full speed. They control with the valve. Valve open, close, open, close. That's a typical. Engineer Ng will explain to you this type of this. And then all their chiller are really out of date, very old and inefficient. So they consume 50% more energy. So as the chiller starts to deteriorate, it gets even worse. So the energy starts going up. So this one is I've seen before personally, but they are not like they do not apply for GBI because they know they cannot score the point. They cannot improve unless they invest that 1 to 2% in to improve their building. Okay, so that is actually we have seen before. So, but that all depend on the owner of the building. I think this one thing.
Okay, we have a question
I
from.
saw the question already.
Yeah. You can read the question.
Actually, at the design stage, there is no cost involved except the consultant's cost the cost of the consultant. If they have already gone through the GBI facilitated course, they understand what needs to be done. Okay, so if they say, okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to reduce the amount of heat going to my building. So they have to calculate, okay, I'm my current glass is let's say shading coefficient. That means the amount of heat going into your glass. Shading coefficient is 65. Let's say that means 65% of the heat is going in. I want to reduce it to 45. How much extra cost am I having to add in? Maybe 1-2 million. So they have to ask the glass supplier, calculate the difference. Then that is the cost to you already. So at each of the different stages, the GBI facilitator or the consultant appointed by the owner can then start to evaluate one item at a time. Because this one is not, it's not like you get a grab the figure from the sky one. This one you need to do one item at a time. That is the reality of life. You have to work hard to improve the efficiency. So there are two portions to every building. One is the passive portion, the one I told you. The glass improvement is usually the more expensive one. Another way of improving they call it the heat going in, reducing the heat going in, is to introduce shading elements. In Malaysia, the sun goes very high in the afternoon. Most of the heat goes in through the direct sunlight. If you have an office building, 60 to 80% of the heat actually go in through direct sunlight. So what you do is you put in shading elements. Aluminium louver shading element are a lot cheaper than the glass. So many of them will start putting shading elements in. So you start to balance the two the cost elements, how you can improve your building by looking at the passive element, that means the shading elements, and also the active element, which is the aircon element, which Engineer Ng can talk about later a bit. I can pass it back to him. How actually you improve the aircon elements. Okay. In addition to the shading elements, they can also improve the microclimate around the building. Let's say your building is in, somebody has raised his hand. Narul.
Morning. Okay, I'm Nurul.
Yeah,
Okay,
Nurul.
regarding to the cost, right. Okay, as we know, when we want to buy a green material, for example, like the tempered glass, for example. Okay, and then the initial cost might be higher, right? But in order to reduce the operational cost, so is it there's any study how to balance it? Because we already invest on the high initial cost, but we can reduce some towards the operational cost.
Yeah, that one actually, that's why we say in many of the GBI projects, they always rope in the quantity surveyor. These people are very good at counting money one. Okay, so what they will do is they look at the overall cost. They don't just look at one element. Like for example, your cost of the glass may be up to 2 million extra. Then you look at it, wow, very high the figure. But 2 million in let's say $50 million project is only 2%, less than 2%. But then the return could be, you calculate backwards, could be about 3 years or 5 years, up to them. So this one, that's why we bring in the quantity surveyor. They are part of the GBI team always, or part of the design team in any project. So the quantity surveyors are very important people in terms of cost. But the engineers and architects are very important people in terms of how you project the design, and then how you implement the design during the construction, and then during the operation of the building. The project managers or building managers then come in, they hand over from one party to the next. So it is not a one-man show. Green buildings is always a team effort, always a team effort. And if you have a GBI facilitator, he is the team leader. The more efficiently he leads the team, the better the results you get from it. So this is always a team effort like anything else. You have to accommodate different requirements, so you have to balance it. So the team leader, the GBI facilitator, is actually, he doesn't have to know everything, but he has to know enough of everything so that everybody, all the experts come in and give their own their share of the information or knowledge. Then we work together to achieve the goal or target they have set up by the owner of the building. That's how it usually works. Okay.
Okay,
we have
thank
a question.
you. Sorry, can I interrupt for
Yeah, go ahead.
No problem.
Okay, can we have a collaboration regarding to these matters?
Yes, no problem. We always have a collaboration one, because in order for a successful green building, we have seen so far, it's always a collaborative effort between the owner, the engineer, the architect, the quantity surveyor, and also the contractor who does the building. Because if they don't want to listen to you, you cannot achieve your green building, your targets that you have set in your design. Because the design, when you finish your design, you apply to GBI, you get a DA or Design Assessment Certificate. But GBI is based on actual data. We never give certificate based on final certificate is not given based on design alone, because that's prediction only. So if you follow strictly according to your DA requirement, normally at the CVA stage or completion and verification assessment, your building will perform according to your design. So then you will achieve your target, and then you will get your CVA certificate. Because that is what we want to do. We want to measure and see the actual consumption of the building. Many of them if they are well built, well designed, go below their DA assessment even. Okay.
Okay, we have question. Another
Yes.
question. If you can, from Engineer Lim Tai Eng. Is
Yes.
there a difference between GBI rated and Green Mark rated? Is there a need to have two accredited bodies for Malaysia?
We are, GBI is a voluntary certification scheme. That means there's no compulsory, no compulsion. We don't force anybody, because we don't believe in forcing people to do what they call certification. Okay? Because when you force somebody to do something, there's a lot, they look for backdoor way of doing things. I want to cheat this, cheat that. No point one. That's why we never use force to ask people to do things. You want to do, you do voluntarily. So this is a voluntary certification system. Now, you ask me, can a building get more than one certificate? Of course they can. It's up to them. You know the diamond building in Putrajaya, the one of the famous platinum buildings in Malaysia, the diamond building. I don't know whether this building is called the Suruhanjaya Tenaga headquarters. That building has got a platinum GBI. Okay, they also applied for Green Mark Singapore. they applied for LEED. Okay, 3 rating tools. They apply all 3. They have consultant all cover all 3. They have GBI Platinum. They have Green Mark Platinum. They have LEED Platinum. So all 3 also Platinum. So building can apply any way they like one. There's no compulsory. Singapore have got compulsory. Malaysia tak ada lagi.
Yeah, as long as you got budget, then you can apply to any.
Yes, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Okay,
Now-
the third question
But,
we have from Mr. Azim.
No, coming back to just now, Architect Chan one, the Singapore Green Mark, you cannot apply for the tax incentives. Only the Green Building Index, Malaysian one, you can apply for the tax incentives.
Yeah. Of course. We understand that one. That one, they are, I think, yeah. For in Malaysia law, they only recognize the GBI and local tools only lah. Okay.
Okay, we have third question from Azim Burhan. Is there any guidelines or standard codes that explain on how to design or implement to achieve the best GBI?
You remember I explained to you GBI consists of 6 components, 6 criteria. So it is not one, you can score 1 point, therefore straight away you get the GBI certification. No, it consists of 6 different components inside. And those 6 components, 6 criteria, contribute towards your green building. Okay, to make your building a sustainable building. So you have to learn how to take all the different elements. So different project types, different building types have different criteria in which you can score. There is no like a one answer fits all one. Just like, you know, why do you employ engineer and architect? Because not every building is the same. The same thing applies here also. The GBI rating also different building type, different location, different owner requirement, all will be different. You have to adapt it to suit the requirement of the owner, the site, and the construction method you have available. That's why we encourage people to use the GBI tool, because the GBI tool takes into consideration not only the government requirements, but also the Malaysian standards, the Malaysian weather, the Malaysian contractor, what they can do, okay? What is material available in Malaysia? So all that is, the whole tool has been adjusted and fine-tuned to be a Malaysian tool. So if you take the LEED tool and come in here and use it, well, a lot of adaptation you got to do, because the LEED is a temperate climate tool. We don't discourage you from doing it. You can do it, but a lot of headache. Their aircon system is, they are trying to prevent heat from going out in the winter, prevent heat from coming in during the summer. Sometimes no need to. Ours, all year round summer, we want to prevent heat from coming into the building. So the different tool adapt to different climate, different social environment, different government acts and laws, and different construction practices also. So that's why we are using the GBI tool, because the GBI tool is adapted for Malaysian environment only. So if you try to take the Green Mark tool and use it in Malaysia, a lot of adjustment need to be done, because they are emphasized on different things. Energy cost in Singapore is, I think, almost doubled out in Malaysia, if I'm not wrong. Depending on where you are, okay? And then they are also got different, their construction practices are also different. They cannot, their one have to be 100% precast one. They cannot use conventional construction methods like us. We still, a lot of our residential buildings are still using, within inverted commas, what they call system formwork. That means the formwork can use 250 times, not plastic formwork of course, not the timber formwork. So that one is also we recognize as one of the green construction method also. Okay.
Okay, any other question from the floor?
Oh, everybody is getting tired, want to go for lunch already, Dongku.
Okay, I have an additional question.
Yeah, go ahead.
In terms of costing, let's say, how much different maybe if we're going to put the element on the design stage, and if we retrofit it later?
That one is actually a design decision lah. Okay, for example, you might want to let's say certain things you cannot retrofit later on. Like for example, if putting glass, you if you take the glass, high performance glass, you cannot go and take out the glass and then put in another glass. But certain other elements you can actually retrofit later. For example, I'm not wrong. Sometimes the aircon system, they might put in the standby chiller might be they might not put in a higher value, or they got other way of doing it. I'm not sure lah. But that depend entirely on the how the owner wants it done lah. Okay, so I can't think of any retrofit. Major retrofit would be, let's say the owner not willing to spend money upfront on the solar panel. Okay, they want to fit it after, let's say 2 years after or 3 years after they finish the building. They run the building, operate nicely. Then they get ready all the cabling for the let's say the solar panel, but the roof already lah, put in the solar panel. Then this one the solar panel will claim under GITI, G-I-T-E, the exemption under GITI. That means they don't double claim lah. They claim for the building under GITA is the Green Building Index, whatever is the tax exemption they get from the green building. Then later, 3 years later, they claim under the for the solar panel under the GITI. So they can do that if they want to. Okay. But for green building index, the contribution from the solar panel will come later when they do the what they call it, renewable verification assessment, RVA. Let's say your kilowatt hour is 150, when you reduce to 140 because of the solar panel, then your rating also improve. Okay, so there is a different stage, really different. So you can actually stage it depending on the owner target and what he wants to do.
Okay, we have another question.
Yes, go ahead.
From Engineer Lim. Am I correct to say achieving GBI accreditation involving changing to newer modern material, which is normally costly? Please comment and steps taken by GBI.
That one actually it depends on your quantity surveyor and your architects and engineers. They are the experts in the building field. They will know what is the most cost-effective product to use. Okay? It's not necessary for you to buy the most expensive product in order to achieve your GBI goal, because the middle range product could actually achieve the same thing as you buy the most expensive product. So let's take, for example, the glass. Let's say you buy glass. You want to buy a very high performance glass, up to the shedding coefficient of 0.25. That means only 25% will heat go in, but the VLT or light going in is still 45%. Those type of high performance glass easily double the cost of the normal the normal solar shaded glass, which is the one that let's say VLT of 60%, but the shading coefficient also 60%. So it's about the same. So that means you have a lower performance, but the cost is half the cost. If you go for the very high end one, like say triple glazing, double glazing, the cost is 3 times higher. Do you need to do that? It's up to the owner, quantity surveyor, to balance the thing for him, which direction he wants to go. There is no one answer fit all one. Up to the owner to decide whether he want.
But we have another question.
No, I can talk on that.
Yeah. Engineer Ang?
Yeah, I can talk on by Engineer Lim Tai Eng. He said like modern material, it can be yes and no. Architect Chan is right. For example, let's look about chillers. Chillers, the latest chillers could be the magnetic or oil-free bearing chiller or variable speed chiller. They are more energy efficient and they are more expensive, slightly more expensive. But if you, in the long run, the ROI or the return on investment, depending on how you design, you will get back the savings from the slightly increase in price of the chillers or certain modern equipment. Usually try not to have a modern equipment that can only be supplied by one supplier, because for say chillers, if there are more than one suppliers, then of course there'll be price competition, then you should look at that. All right, I'm also looking at the one by Nurul Azman Mandani, talk about solar panel. Very, very interesting. Now, when we first started GBI Green Building in 2009, May 2009, more than 13 years ago, the price of solar PV is about 26,000 ringgit per kilowatt hour peak. Right now, after more than 10 years, the price of a solar PV is less than 5,000 ringgit per kilowatt peak. All right. And during the time, 2009, the payback period is about 20 to 25 years. You are right. Right now, with less than 5,000 ringgit kilowatt peak, I think the return on investment has reduced. Correct me if I'm wrong, Architect Chan, because when we started lecturing, it's about 25,000
right.
to 26,000
Absolutely.
ringgit. Now somebody told me you can get it about 2,005. I was so shocked, but I do know the cost is about 4,000 to 5,000 because of the advent of Chinese products. That over the years, the price had dropped tremendously. Okay.
But then again, like everything else, when you buy cheap product, don't try to buy the lowest price product, because sometimes the lowest price product, the performance will deteriorate very fast. Okay, so be careful about their test results. Look at it carefully, balance it nicely. Okay, the one that Engineer Ng was talking about, the 5,000 per kilowatt peak one, that might be the one that is the most suitable. The one at 2005, they might get the same initial performance, but 3 years later already dropped to half already.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. I mean, it's not that I'm saying cheap is no good. Normally, average is good, better than go and try to the highest one. The highest one normally high performance, extra high cost. But somewhere in the middle is just right. It's up to you to balance it out properly.
Okay, maybe we can give opportunity for Engineer Ng from GBI to say something on behalf of GBI. What we have saw from your slide is that in Perlis still zero building. No building from Perlis got certified by GBI.
Maybe UniMAP can be the first. Get one of your students to do a PhD on one of your buildings.
Yeah, I think maybe Tunku, you should start one in your campus or something, a building for just certified, with your students. You can try one. Certified is fairly easy.
Yeah, you can actually, Tunku, if you are university building, can ask for special exemption from us, so we can give you the
also special rate also. Do we have special rate?
Yes, we do have for universities. Yes.
Yes, we give special rate for you.
Andrew is here. He'll answer you after.
Yeah, hi. I'm Andrew from GBI. Yeah, for universities, we give up to 20% discount for the registration fees. Maybe I can just share that, like University Malaysia, they submitted their first project about 3 years back. So this year, they're submitting another 6 more projects, 6 more buildings to be certified. So that's a very good start. These are all existing buildings. So perhaps any police can start with one.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other? Yes, we have another question from Engineer Lim, Tai Eng. If the green material is easily available to the public, be
Yes.
one of the steps taken
Yes.
by GBI.
You know, back in 2009 when we first started, all the paint companies 90% of them only offer high VOC paints. You know what a high VOC paint? When they finish repainting the building or inside the building, you can smell the turpentine released from the building. That is actually carcinogenic. It causes cancer in people. Okay? Today, that one, and then the water-based paint, that means the low VOC paint, costs almost 50% more. Today, you try and buy the turpentine-based paint, that sudah almost double the cost already. Everything is water-based or low VOC paints. Okay? This one is actually driven by the green building industry. GBI say, okay, you want to do that, you go ahead, get it cheap, but you're going to cause a lot of cancer, but we don't encourage it. So now you can see our industry has changed already. Material has almost double, dropped to normal already now. The other way around already, no more the high VOC paints already. The same will start to happen to all the glues, the building materials, because the more demand for green building materials, the price will start to drop and they become the more popular material to use because people become health conscious, environmental conscious, and also they want to pass their children, the next generation, environment which is better than what they have today. That's what is the driving force to a lot of people who want to adopt green and sustainable buildings.
Other things like water fittings that you can easily find, and then recycle bags, recycle material. There are many other things that if you look around us, they are, all right? What we call green material.
Okay, we still have plenty of time for question and answer from the floor. If anybody can raise their question over here. And just before that, I would like to share the video. Yes, we have another question. Has GBI come out with the list of green building materials?
We have a list. The list actually is under Malaysia Green Building Council, our sister association. They actually run a product list called Green Pages Malaysia. If you go into greenpagesmalaysia.org, you will find all the green building material inside this one book, Green Pages Malaysia. That's the hard copy of it. But soft copy is inside the website. Okay? The green material, they will tell you which criteria you can score. Okay? That one, I think, because of the COVID, a lot of them went to sleep, material supplier. But last few years, they start to coming back in already. So you can go there and get the listing of material from the Green Pages Malaysia.
Okay, I would like to show a video, the one from GBI. Okay, before we end our session, I would like maybe Architect Chan or maybe Engineer Ng can wrap up our session. You have final thing to say?
Okay, I'm sure Universiti Malaya Police, you are for you to organize this very interesting online lecture. I'm sure many of your students who are engineers or architects or technicians are people they are interested in green building because they want to improve not their environment also but the future for their children and their next generation. So I would suggest that there's a Lestari in Universiti Malaya Police, isn't it? Maybe the Lestari department should approach the university to get one of your green your building, maybe your hall or whatever, to be GBI rated and also to improve your building, So if you want assistance from any of the GBI, to go through the process of getting it green, you can always contact GBI, no problem. We can help you out. And also, you once you got one building done, then you can start to look at when you monitor properly, you can see actually there are actual improvement in your building. And not only you save money, you also save the environment. So you should look at it carefully. That is my suggestion to Universiti Malaya Police. Look at it. Then you will be the first building in Police to be green certified. So good lah, isn't it? Hopefully that goes through. At least our effort in sharing this what we are doing for Malaysia also help Police also lah. Everybody who gets part of it lah. Okay, hopefully it has been helpful to you.
Yeah, Engineer Ng, anything?
Yeah, I will support Architect Chan be the first building in Perlis to get at least certified. Okay, the first one.
Yes, yes.
Perlis sekarang kosong lah, so
Kosong.
break the egg.
Yeah,
Kosong.
we will try. Maybe we will plan maybe next year.
We can assist you to try, please.
Okay, thank you very much for Engineer Chan and also Engineer Ng for your sharing session. Alhamdulillah, majlis kita telah pun sampai ke penghujungnya. Pihak penganjur iaitu Pusat Pengurusan Tenaga, Kampus Lestari, COSCEM, UniMAP merakamkan ucapan terima kasih kepada penceramah kita, Architect Chan dan juga Engineer Ng from GBI di atas sesi perkongsian yang telah disampaikan sebentar tadi. Semoganya ia memberi manfaat kepada semua yang hadir. And based on feedback from GBI, they will share the slide.
Yes.
Yeah, we will share the slide and we will distribute to all participants based on the attendance list that you have filled in. Dan ucapan terima kasih juga kepada semua yang hadir pada hari ini, daripada pelajar UniMAP, daripada staff UniMAP, agensi kerajaan, kita ada profesional, syarikat swasta juga ada hari ini. Sokongan daripada anda semua adalah sangat dihargai untuk program kita pada hari ini. Saya nampak tadi sehingga 184 orang yang hadir. Sekarang dah kurang sebab isi attendance kan. Dah jadi 160. Dan jangan lupa mengisi kehadiran link attendance yang diberikan untuk semua partisipan. Ada satu link, you fill in akan dapat terus sijil. Ke dalam email masing-masing. Kalau yang tak ada number BEM ataupun tak ada number MBOT just put dash over there. Dan juga kepada staff UniMAP ada satu lagi link, iaitu link kehadiran berkhusus oleh Jabatan Pendaftar. Yang tu pun kena isi juga. Akhir kata, pihak majlis memohon kemaafan kerana ada salah dan silap semasa mengendalikan program kita hari ini. Dan sebelum kita bersurai, apa kata kita buka kamera dan cuba mengambil gambar beramai-ramai? Okey, urus dia. Okey, nanti dia akan ambil lah. Saya akan buat pengiraan, dia orang akan ambil lah. Okey. Okey, 1, 2, 3. Okey, freestyle. 1. Freestyle lah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much to all
Thank you,
for
Tengku.
supporting our program. InsyaAllah tahun depan kita
Thank
akan
you.
jumpa lagi.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, UniMAP.
Thank you, UniMAP.
Engineer
you.
Earl dan semua yang hadir pada hari ini.
Thank you everyone.
Terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih
Thank
semua.
you. Bye bye.
Dan juga Puan Ain. Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you so much.